Republicans in the state of Wisconsin are so desperate to overturn their state's 2020 election results, even more than 15 months after the election took place. But they're so desperate that they're willing to listen to anybody who comes forward with allegations of fraud, even if that individual is a convicted felon who actually went to jail for fraud. That convicted felon happens to be a man by the name of Peter Begar, who happens to be one of the heirs to the Hillshire farms fortune, but he went to jail in 2009 for bank fraud, mail fraud, the gamut here, right? And here's the thing. Mr. Bernager recently testified in front of the Wisconsin State House with all kinds of allegations of fraud in the 2020 election because he says he's been looking into this himself. And hey, if there's anybody that knows fraud when they see it, it's a guy that spent time in jail for fraud, right? Of course, not voter fraud, but far more serious forms of fraud. This is how ridiculous they have gotten, folks. I mean, forget for a fact that, again, we're talking about 15 months later, they're still working on this. They're also spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's unclear whether or not they've paid Mr. Bernager for his services. Maybe he was doing it out of the goodness of his heart, but either way, they support what he's doing. So effectively, he is working for them. Whether or not he's getting paid, I don't know yet. But they'll listen to anybody. And I understand. Everybody gets a second chance. Everybody gets a shot at redemption. He paid his debt to society, sure. But is this really the face you want to go with? Is this really the guy you want to put front and center as your smoking gun evidence of voter fraud in the 2020 election? Probably not. Again, they are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in the state of Wisconsin to audit their election results. And of course, Joe Biden did win the state of Wisconsin. They believe that nope, he totally did not. Donald Trump won it. And so far, they have been unable to produce any evidence whatsoever to suggest that Donald Trump had the election stolen from him. Just like we've seen in Texas, Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, all the other states where they've been pushing these idiotic audits. And it's going to yield the same results. We know these elections were secure. There have been cases of voter fraud that have popped up here and there. Hell, we've had a lot of them down here in Florida in the villages. And by a lot, I mean fewer than 10, but still a lot for one community. Almost all of them, as far as I know of in the villages, actually all of them that I know of in the villages were in fact Republicans. So are you really, really sure you want to keep digging this hole? Because the more we find out that Joe Biden actually had votes taken away from him. Oh, and Idaho, too, by the way, was a state that decided to do an audit and found the same thing. Oops, we overcounted Donald Trump's votes. But if you must insist, if you want to waste taxpayer dollars chasing rabbits down holes that aren't even real, I guess continue to do it, right? Not really hurting anything except, of course, the public's faith in our entire electoral process. And that's the problem. But, as studies have shown, it's a problem that could ultimately end up biting these Republicans in the behind, more so than it does the Democrats. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.